Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Andrew. Today we're going to be installing the DDM Works cold air intake and charge tubes. If you guys like the video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe, and let's get into that install. Alright, so now it's time to start removing the charge pipes and the cold air intake. We're going to start with removing the cold air intake first. So we're going to have to undo these two screws in order to get this sensor out. We're going to have to loosen this clamp, as well as take out these, not take out, but just remove these 6 clips holding the top of the airbox on. Then we'll take out the filter and we'll continue on from there. But right now that's what we got to do first. 2 screws, loosen the clamp, and those 6 clamps holding on the airbox. Alright, so we've loosened this clamp. It was an 8mm socket. You could have also used a flathead screwdriver. I said before that we had to disconnect this. I just pulled it out. It's safer that once you take out the top of the airbox that you remove this, because you are going to need it later. I removed all the 6 clips, so now that I have it out here, just hold on to this plastic tubing, the rubber tubing. There you go. And then you have the top of the airbox out. Alright, so now that the top of the airbox is removed, we can take this filter out. We'll still have to remove this, but I'm going to wait till I take out the charge tubes, because that will be a lot easier because the bolts are around there, and then I can take that out. Then you see this white tab here, you have to push that to the side in order to remove, there you go, this part right here, it's coming out. There you go, it's a little tricky with one hand. You see that's where it connects. There's going to be a new part of that on the new cold air intake. Now that this is removed, there's just another hose clamp right here, which you should be able to see, that we got to remove, and then we're set. Alright, so I got the air intake disconnected from the turbo right here. With that airbox, the top of the airbox, this is the airflow sensor. You're just going to want to finish removing these 2 Phillips screwdrivers and then transfer over that to your new cold air intake. Alright, so now we're going to start removing the driver's side charge tube. We're going to have to unplug this sensor as well as disconnect this. There's also a brass sensor, not a brass sensor, but a brass adapter right there that we're going to have to remove and put in the other one. As far as this, I don't know what size this is yet. When I do, I'll let you know. But we're probably going to have to remove that too to put it in the new charge pipe. We'll also have to loosen this clamp in order to disconnect it. Take out this screw, the bolt, that way we can remove this. And then in the front, it's easier when we come around this way. See, this is also the charge pipe. We're going to remove this, but we're also going to remove this front bracket. They say we don't need this bracket anymore. So we got the driver's side charge tube out. This is it right here. We're going to have to remove this clip and just transfer it over to the new charge tube. I removed the bracket that was here. It is going to have to go back, but that just gave me some more wiggle room when I was trying to get out of this the silicone tube that goes into the intercooler. This was a hard one. Once this one was removed, I could twist and get it out of this one here. That was a pain in the butt. This one was easy. And I also removed to remove that brass fitting with an 11mm wrench, and then these 2 bolts that were in here, I used this Allen bit. It is a 5/32, and I was able to get those 2 out. Now I just have to transfer them to the new charge pipe. I'm going to put some thread locker on this one because there was some when I took it out, and like I said before, we have to transfer this clip as well. Alright, now we got to take off the passenger side charge tube. We also removed this front bracket. It went right there. Now it's off, and they said it doesn't need to be there anymore, so that's off. Okay, according to the instructions, this side should be pretty similar as well. We got to remove the charge pipe from this mounting point right here. These are different. They said these would be 11mm in order to remove these. And in front, to remove it from the intercooler, the horn is also here, so we're gonna have to be careful with that. So this would just come off, and then when we remove this bracket, we're just gonna reattach the horn in the same position with that bolt, just without that bracket there. So now we just have to get out the driver's side charge tube. All right, we got the passenger side charge tube out. There's the beginning of the intercooler right there. This is the inlet to the turbo. Here we have the old charge tube, and this is a piece of silicone running from here to there, okay, like that. And I already removed this clip like that and put it on the other one. And you can see here how it, in order to fit, they kind of crushed this pipe from factory. So, you know, shows the improvement from the new one. Alright, in order to remove the lower part of the air box, it's these two torque 30s, one here, and I already got the bit over there on it, as well as in front this bolt right here. That's a 10 millimeter. We'll have to take that one out, and then the air box should come loose, and then we'll remove it. So once I have the lower part of the air box removed, I'll get back with you guys and we'll keep going from there. The two torque 30 bolts are out. The 10 millimeter bolt right there is out, so we should be able just to reach in and remove the lower part, there we go, of the air box. There we go. And we will have to remove this little piece of foam. Alright, now with the charge tubes and cold air intake removed, as well as the lower portion of the air box, we can get started on the installation process. I'm going to get started with the cold air intake first, and then the charge tubes. Okay, I lied. We're not installing the cold air intake yet. I actually got the T-bolt upgrade clamps. So these two right there are going to be going on the charge tube from here, and then these four are actually going to be going on the intercooler piping that connects, well, this rubber hose that connects the intercooler piping to the charge tube. So this is the old one, and there's another old one down there that we'll be replacing with the new upgraded T-bolt clamps. Alright, I installed some of those T-bolts already on the lower side of the silicone connected to the intercooler. I put the sensor, the air sensor, on the cold air intake. I also have the silicone attached right here, the tubing. So that's going to connect right here. It's going to bend down over there, and then this metal bracket is going to be connected somewhere here, and it connects to the cold air intake on there. Alright, once I have that together, I'll show you how it looks. Alright, so I installed the cold air intake. I also connected this stainless steel line. It's connected to the turbo down here, and we have that metal bracket. Let me show you that focusing. So the metal bracket is right there. I'll get some light on it. There you go, right there, connected to the cold air intake, and I can give you a better look now. There you go. There's the cold air intake connected to the turbo. Alright, well, we got the airflow sensor connected now. That was actually kind of complicated. Before, it was routed over the radiator hose. I got it under, but that still wasn't enough, so we had to disconnect this brown like plug. It's kind of hard to see. There you go, that brown plug. It was connected to that bolt that you can see right there. We disconnected that one, as well as that one right there, and you can you can see the bolt right next to it. So we disconnected those, and that gave this cable enough reach in order to connect to the airflow sensor. So now I'm gonna install that charge tube, the driver's side charge tube. Alright, so now we're gonna install the driver's side charge tube. it's pretty much going to go in reverse order. So this end is going to go in first. The other end is going to go into the pipe that connects it to the intercooler. Then I got to mount it to the bracket that I took out for clearance. And then connect the vacuum hose and the other air sensor right there. You see I've put both fittings on the new pipe. Alright, and of course we have the new T-clamps to go on that as well. I'll get back to you once everything is connected. Then we move on to the other side. Alright, so the driver's side charge tube is installed now. We've got it connected here. This is tight. We have the air sensor in, the vacuum line, this bracket I put back in, and we also have it connected down to the intercooler. So now we just got to go ahead and do the passenger side, and we're almost there. Alright, so we're going to install the passenger side charge tube now. Here it is. You see we transferred that clip over as well. One of the other things that the instructions say to do is you see this bracket right here. They want us to remove this, put this little plastic spacer that comes with the kit right where it was, and we can put the mounting bracket back on, and then we're gonna just put the same nut right back on it like that. So I'm gonna actually take that off and then do it once I have this installed, but that now you get the idea. Connect it to the intercooler piping, and then we have this connector right here. They call this the hump connector because, as you can see, there's a little hump in it. That's going to go to the turbo and connect to the charge tube. Alright, so once that's all together, I'll be back and we should be ready to go. Exciting. Aside from that plastic spacer, they also want you to use this new bolt right here. It's slightly shorter, and I believe the reasoning for that is, if you can see here on the charge tube, once you go through that hole, there's not that much space. So if you use the old one, it might start to dig into the tube. So we're going to be doing that as well. We're going to put on that new bolt. Whew. Well, we got that one, and this one was a real pain in the butt. They suggested putting this side in first and then the intercooler side. That didn't work for me, so what I ended up doing is I moved this clamp over here just so it was on. I moved this one over there so both are on. I didn't have to, I didn't forget about them. I put the coupler only on the turbo side, and I left this side unattached. Then I was able to swing it here, push it down into the intercooler side, get that one seated all the way down, and then bring it across and then get it in. It worked for me that way. I don't know if I said it already, but this was tricky. Yes, I did. I talked about those orange clamps, so we got that on. I also got the air filter on. We're all set there. Everything's on. Oh, and I decided against, I can't find it right now, but that white spacer that they said to put, I put that, and I couldn't get this bracket to connect. It was too high, so I took it off, put it back to normal, and I connected it. It worked out. Alright guys, we're back. Last you saw, I was installing these T-bolt clamps here. Those were actually the wrong ones. You need to reuse the clamps that came with the original system. So I have these on now. Before, the other ones that weren't clamping hard enough, and this was just slipping off the turbo. And I actually ended up breaking these. You can see right here, I over tightened them. They're too big for this. They don't belong here. They actually go right here on this side, so it's to replace this one here as well as that one right there. Yeah, you can see that. So that's to replace that. And since this one broke, I tried reaching out to DDM to see if I could order just 2 of these, and they never got back to me. So I ended up ordering 2 Mishimoto ones. So they look like this. They have the spring kind of like the ones for the turbo. It might be a little overkill, but I think it will work right. So now this is all set up. Now we just got to get to the other side, take off that piece of tubing, and replace what it has, those worm drive clamps, with these guys. So we're just gonna have to use a 7mm socket to take that one, as well as the other one that I showed you earlier, off, and then remove the ducting and then replace it. The instructions also said we're gonna have to cut right here. Let me get that flashlight in order to replace it. I'll see if I have to do that. If I don't have to, I won't, but I can see what we have to do once we take it off. Alright, so this is the charge tube. It would sit in like that. I undid this one and I was able to push it off, but I didn't have the clearance inside there to pull off this one, so I just pulled off this whole driver's side charge tube, and now I'll be able to work with it easily out here, pull it off, see if it will fit, cut it if I need to, these parts here, because you see that holds in the clamp, and then once everything's good I should be able to put it back and get back to normal. Okay, so before installing, I just wanted to give you guys a quick look. So on the side that was closer to the engine, we had this thin clamp. Then this one in the middle was the one that was connected to the charge tube, and then these are the ones that we're replacing with, pretty thick. So they should have a good hold. And then I did have to shave the pipes, not the pipes, but you know, the rubber. There you go. So that's one of them. I sanded a little bit too, so it'd be more flush. And then on the other side, that's the other one right there. I went in with an X-Acto knife, cut it out, and then sanded it. It's smooth. I didn't want to take that edge off. I'll just clamp it down tight, and then hopefully with heat it will kind of make another ridge and nestle in nicely. So now I'm going to put this side in first, and then I'll connect the charge tube, put the charge tube in here, and then attach this clamp. So I was able to get the hose in again. There you go. Oh, can you see? There you go. So you can see it there. I did remove the spring just because there wasn't enough room for it to go in. It's nice and tight, it's snug. It didn't have one of these springs before, so it should be fine now. I'll see if I can keep the spring on this one. If not, I wouldn't worry because that one didn't even look like it was slipping. This one, when I was checking it, the car still ran fine, but when I was checking it, it would kind of slip off a little bit, and then once it reaches point, it didn't go any further, but I'd rather have it all the way up and tight. So now I'm just going to put the charge tube back in, connect this clamp and the clamps that I had to remove there from connecting the charge pipe to the intercooler, and then reconnect these hoses and stuff like that. Then we're done. Alright, so everything is connected again. We got this one. I wasn't able to use... Okay, that fell to the bottom. I wasn't able to use either of these springs, but they should be fine. I connected the intercooler to the charge pipe again. Connected these two. I also moved this out of the way just to give clearance when I was trying to take out this duct. Alright, we're all set. So it should be good. I'll take it for a test drive, see how it looks. I know it already sounds better because I was able to drive it before changing these. And I'll see if you guys can hear the difference on the camera, and if you can, I'll be sure to show you guys. it's all installed, the cold air intake and the charge tubes. I actually did do some data logging and I sent it over to Trifecta Tuning. They said that it was moving more air through, but the tune accounted for that. So we're all set in that aspect. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.